Hello, welcome to the most dangerous podcast. How are you, James?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, yeah, just trying to get rid of this virus that I've had for the last couple of weeks. So how was your break? Because you went away.
I did go away. It was very enjoyable. I'm pumped, full of vitamin D, because I went for some time in the sun with the family. It was lovely, and I'm just miserable to be back because it's cold, raining, and all the horrible things that happen in autumn are happening outside right now.
Yeah, it's particularly miserable just now, isn't it? So, James, this week we're going to look at magic and what is the most dangerous magic trick.
Magic, eh? I don't believe in magic.
You don't, you don't believe in magic?
No.
I struggle with magic because I was going to talk about this later actually, but you've prompted me here. I think there's three types of magic. There's what I would call sleight of hand magic, so card tricks.
Yeah, which isn't magic.
It's not magic, no, sleight of hand. There is the big kind of stage magic.
Yeah,
So
again,
David Copperfield and
which isn't magic.
Penn and Teller and stuff. And then there's some of these guys you see on the street and you think, the fuck's he done that? And I know that you know Hogwarts and stuff doesn't exist, but there are some of them that I really struggle to work out how they've done it.
I know what you mean. It's an illusion, isn't it? It's all
It's an
illusion.
yeah,
Like actual
illusionist.
real magic. I mean, come on. It'd be magic if I got a decent night's sleep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That'd be good.
Um,
Maybe be magic. Be magic if my bank account wasn't in the minus for a change. That'd be magic. But I think what you're talking about is illusion.
illusion, yes, illusion. But let's call it magic because
For the sake of arguments.
I think this Word document I've got here has got magic about 60 times. I'm not going to change that to illusion each time.
Every time you say magic, I'm going to go, no, illusion.
Illusion. As we always do, let's have a look at the history of magic and where it started.
All right, this would be interesting. Are we going back to witches again?
No, way before that.
Discussed that. Before that. We did discuss that back in our Halloween episode a few weeks back.
Yes, the witches that sink or float. So the first ever magic trick. Now, obviously, no one really knows who did the first magic trick because there probably wasn't cameras thousands of years ago and stuff like that.
No.
But
Jesus, was it Jesus?
Jesus, I actually think Jesus was a magician. Not an illusionist.
Dynamo.
I think that Jesus was this guy that was like bottle of wine up his sleeve, jug of water, watch me. I think Jesus was probably an illusionist.
No, I don't think so. Let's not go into this. It's probably going to be a bit more. So I don't think he was illusionist. I just think he got like hyped.
Yeah.
By the Gospels and all that. I don't think he was like Tommy Cooper.
So, but yeah, the first sort of recorded act of magic was found in a wall drawing nearly 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, where a magician named Didi was drawn performing the classic cup and balls magic trick.
Cup and balls.
Cup and balls, yeah. Are you aware of the cup and balls? Made really famous by Paul Daniels, who was a master at it.
I think so. It's where you put a ball under a cup and spin it around and say, where is it? And then you pick it up and it's not there.
Yeah, and then it's in your pocket and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
A lot of magicians recognise Paul Daniels as being the sort of modern hero of the cup and ball trick. But they think that there was actually a drawing of someone doing this 5,000 years ago.
Have you got a pic? How could they tell? Can you show me a picture of that?
No, because I just took it as read. It was on a website. I just thought that.
So, like, how does a picture like? How can you see that that's what they're doing on the picture? It could be anything.
I know it could have just been a wee guy that, like, I'm going to put my balls on this cup.
Yeah, or just put an egg in a cup. for you. It's difficult, you know. A picture paints 1,000 words, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And it could mean absolutely anything.
Maybe the first picture, the ball's on the top of the cup, and the next picture, the ball's gone, and everyone looks surprised because it's disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, how long? It was 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, 5,000 years ago.
Probably wasn't that much detail in it.
No. So, moving on from that, the first official account of the cups and balls, though, is credited to a group of Roman magicians known as the
Come on. Every week you can do this.
Aestabulari, okay, who used stones and small vinegar cups to perform this amazing magic trick between 50 and 300 AD. This would still make the cups and balls the first true sleight of hand magic trick.
Right. Smoking, but I didn't catch the... Was it smoke that you said?
Smoke?
No. So, did you say smoke and vinegar something? Vinegar cups.
Stones.
Stones. Sorry, I thought you said smoke.
Stones and small vinegar cups.
Oh, okay. So yeah, rather than balls, stones.
Yes,
cheaper.
Stones, yeah, that's it. Yeah, stones are knocking about everywhere.
Certainly are.
Yeah, but a lot of the times, magic tricks were actually used to basically con people and fleece people. Back in the sort of early days of magic and illusions, where, you know, people would say, "Let me look at your £20 note," and then 2 seconds later they go, "What £20 note?"
Yeah,
you know,
I bet you a tenner. Bet you a tenner. You don't know where the stone is.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, so there was a lot of kind of sleight of hand to just trick people and get money out of them. Following on from that, you know, later on, magic was not always seen as a form of entertainment. For many years, it was associated with the occult and even feared by the public. And this was in the times where they started to believe in witches and stuff like that. And
right.
You know, anyone that could actually perform magic tricks, they were going, "Well, hang on a minute, you're
burn him."
Yeah, burn him. Yeah. That was fascinating. Yeah, burn the guy.
Pick a card, any card. Oh no! Dragged off into a cell.
That's it. Yeah. So magic wasn't really so much entertainment. It was feared at the time. But in 1584, a man called Reginald Scott helped dispel these beliefs when he published The Discovery of Witchcraft, believed to be the first magic trick book. And his book actually revealed how these witches and sorcerers were actually just magicians using clever tricks to deceive the public. And while it helped put an end to witch hunts, it unfortunately gave them another negative connotation of being con artists and charlatans.
Can't catch a break, can they?
I know. These wee guys like trying to learn, but the wee box of like magic tricks with the bits of sponge and the.
I was just going to mention those. Did you ever get one of those for Christmas?
Oh yeah, they were shite.
They were rubbish, weren't they?
But shrinking wand.
Yeah, that's right. With the thing that the little tube that went up and down on it, and there was a couple that you could do that were dead easy.
Yeah.
And then there were like a couple that were so intricate they'd take about a week to set up.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to like plan it and say, all right, okay, you put the card, stick a card to a playing card to a piece of card and hide that under the sofa, and you know, it's like got about 30 different steps to performing this trick, and they never worked.
No.
And the simple one, you know, when you make the wand go wobbly when you're shaking a little bit, and then like you say, the shrinking wand was dead easy. But then you'd have the ones with the rope. You have to tie a really weird knot, and the knot
disappeared and slid up and down the rope, and
bearing in mind you're about 7 years old, so you try to work out these instructions, and then it just goes in the cupboard.
So magic, it wasn't until the turn of the 19th century that magic actually became, you know, a form of entertainment. Many historians credit Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin for leading this charge. But so instead of, you know, he was the first one that instead of like performing sort of street scams like the old table with 3 cards on it, he took magic from the street to the stage and actually made a stage show out of it. And round about the same time, there was another magician called Alexander Herman, and he was the first one to actually do it, wearing, a proper top hat, tailcoat, dicky bow, and he was the first one to sort of have that magician look to him. The
The
white
classic,
shirt,
yeah, classic magician guy.
That's it. And when it comes to sort of well-known magicians, the sort of the best known of all time is Harry Houdini, who we talked about in our Halloween.
We did, and
Halloween special,
just mentioned a moment ago. Yeah. So I think everyone knows about him.
Yeah.
But then, like you were saying at the start of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
it's different types of magic, isn't it? So he was like, I think we mentioned an escapologist.
That's right, yeah.
But then you get the sleight of hand Paul Daniels type of guy who does the cards and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose there's different facets. I wonder if when you go to magician school, you kind of pick a subject or an area that you want to specialize in, and then go down.
Like medicine, if you want to be a knee doctor or an eye doctor or something.
Yeah. Do you want to be a card magician or an escapologist? Or
I've always wondered, see, in medical school, who puts their hand up when they say who wants to be a proctologist?
Is that arses?
Yeah, that's basically anything to do with up your arsehole. So yeah, so basically, until the sort of this early 90s, magic was always seen as something that was done on stage, and Vegas made it big, but it was also seen as quite a corny thing. Children's parties, stage shows in Butlins, holiday resorts and stuff. And it was a magician that, again, I think we've already mentioned him, David Blaine, that was the first one to really start to make magic cool again by going out in the street, and doing street magic tricks in front of people without the stage and without the, all the props and everything like that. Followed on by Dynamo that we've mentioned as well.
Yeah, so Dynamo was like the British David Blaine, wasn't he? Like, I suppose. Was that the 90s? I'm getting old, so I can't remember. When he had his show on Channel 4, I think, and he used to levitate, but he wasn't really levitating.
Yeah, so Dynamo was more early 2000s. David Blaine was sort of late 90s.
Yeah, so in the late night, David Blaine was doing all this street magic, and it started off sort of low-level stuff where he'd just go around New York, I think, and do it to crowds of people. Where eventually he got so big, he would go and do it to celebrities and impress them, and do like throwing a pack of cards at a window and then one would stick and stuff like that. Yeah. But then he progressed, didn't he, into like insane super tricks where he endurance, I suppose, where he just like
mental stuff
for a month without food and water and stuff. I went to a wedding once, and they had a face painter for the kids. And I got, so after a few sherries, at the reception, I got the face painter to paint that eye on my hand, that he's got tattooed. I got the face painter to do that on my hand.
Yeah.
And I was just walking around the wedding and going to random people. Shazam.
I looked up what were the top 10. Because I was looking, obviously, for dangerous magic tricks, and I thought, what are considered to be the top 10 magic tricks? Now,
top 10 tricks or magicians?
Top 10 tricks. Top 10.
Oh, okay.
So this is voted by magicians. So the Magic Circle have voted these the top 10. Now, I'm not going to read the 10 because I want to talk about them. So it's the top 3.
Okay.
Have you ever seen David Copperfield's Death Saw?
I've seen him. Well, I haven't seen him. But I heard about when he made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Yeah, what he actually did is moved a boat so that they couldn't see the Statue of Liberty anymore. So his Death Saw, that was actually voted the best magic trick of all time. And I'm realising I probably should have gone 3, 2, 1. But anyway, we're looking at number 1.
Right.
And he's on a table, on a stage, with a huge big circular saw above him, spinning.
Like James Bond?
Yeah. But it's coming down sideways in his body, so to cut him across the midriff.
Right.
And he's chained to a table, so he's got to escape from the chains, get off the table before the saw comes down. And he's halfway through
Okay.
escaping, and the chain, the big saw, the sparks start coming from it, and it just falls. It goes through him, and he flops. As if
Oh,
he's
I think I
dead.
might have seen this. Yeah.
And then they actually pull the table apart. Now, there's nothing obscuring him, so you can just see the bottom half of his body.
Yeah.
And his legs and his body are separate. And they bring it right out onto
I've
the
seen
stage.
this.
And someone
Yeah.
shouts, "Move your feet," and he starts kicking. His legs just start kicking on their own. Then they join him back together, and the saw goes up, and he's joined back together again. And the reason it's voted as number one is no one's actually really worked out how he's done it.
Yeah, because I think I remember the table.
Yeah.
So I've seen how they cut people in half. They have like a cabinet, don't they?
Yeah.
With two people in it, I think.
That's it.
And someone's legs and someone's body, and then they cut.
Mhm.
It looks like they cut the cabinet in half. But if I remember this trick, it's like a table. You can see underneath
That's
the
it.
table.
You can
can't
see
you?
all
I
around
think.
it, underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so that was voted number one. And number two is David Blaine's levitation. When he was out doing a street magic. Now, a lot of magicians, when they do levitation in the street, they actually go up on the toes of one foot and raise
Well, that's
the
what I
other
thought
foot.
it was. I remember when it came out all those years ago, and I'm sure it was just him standing on his tiptoe on one toe, and then lifting his foot.
But there's
I know it sounds a bit silly, but that's what I thought how he did it.
that's how they reckon he was doing it first. But then there's later on down the line, he actually starts doing it where you can see both of his feet.
Oh wow!
And it's quite mad. You'd have to look it up, but that was voted number two.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because you know that he's not floating.
Yeah.
Because that's impossible. But if both feet are off the ground and you can see underneath his feet, then he is floating.
Yeah.
So how is he doing? That's crazy. Yes.
And the last one's not really that interesting. It was the Pendragon's Metamorphosis. And the reason it's in third place, it's quite a simple. Man gets locked in a box. Lady stands on the box. She lifts up a sheet, drops it. Man's out the box, and the lady's in the box. The reason this is number three is the speed at which they do it. So he's chained in the box. She stands in the box, and literally, she lifts the sheet and drops it within a second, and he's there, and she's in the box.
Right.
So the reason it became number three is because of the speed at which they do it.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. I mean, I've seen similar ones where they do it with clothes. They lift up.
The speed changing thing.
It just seems impossible that they could change like full outfits, not just like change their top or something. It's like full outfits. I always like the one with the sword. That's always quite good. The swords in the box.
Oh yeah.
That's a classic. I do like that one.
I was going to say, have you got any favourite magic tricks that you've seen or illusions?
Well, personally, I do think, like, for me, the card. I do like the card tricks.
Yeah.
They're always good. I think we've spoke about Darren Brown before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's illusion. I don't think he likes being called a magician because I think he just says, it's not magic. It's just what I think. But I like that. I went to see him once live.
Yeah.
And that was really crazy. I won't spoil it because somebody might go and somebody listening might be going to see him because he's doing a tour at the moment.
Oh right.
But essentially, like, that's another world. Like, I think that's we've had the Dynamo kind of era, David Blaine era, and I think now it's perhaps progressed a little bit into more sort of psychological kind of tricking people, reading people. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just a different type of skill. Personally, I like that. That's really interesting. But I like card tricks.
Yeah,
the classic card tricks. I think they're great. Sometimes.
Two that come to my mind is, again, back to Dynamo, because I used to watch his show. There's one where he's walking through a shop wearing a tracksuit, and he just disappears. The tracksuit just lands on the floor in a pile of clothes.
Right.
And
then he's just gone.
He's just gone, yeah. And there's loads of theories to it, but no one's actually said this is how he's done it. There's a lot of kind of theories. I thought that was quite impressive. You'd need to look it up, really.
Yeah, have you ever seen this? There's two guys on. Sorry to interrupt. Go on, actually, you go.
No, I'm happy with that. You can.
So, have you ever seen those guys? They're on like Twitter or X, as it's known
Yeah.
now, and I think you can see their videos on sort of Facebook and stuff. And it's like they're from Korea or Japan or,
Oh,
or
yeah.
China or something like that. And it's a bit of a comedy sketch,
Yeah.
right? So it's some guy in front of the camera doing a trick.
Mhm.
You know, you like pour, I don't know, I can't remember, like water out of a cup into another cup and then tip the other cup over, and then there's no water in it. Stuff, you know, the standard magic stuff. Yeah. And then there's a guy sat behind him with a really moody face, and he'll just stand up and walk over and then just pick something up, which completely destroys the illusion.
Right, I think I've seen them actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite funny,
Yeah.
but then it's also quite fascinating because it just goes to show like how they do it and things like that. So that's good. I also saw another interesting one, magic trick, where a lady put her arms out over a table, and underneath her is a shadow of her hands, and the guy, the magician, sort of holds her hands whilst they're spread out.
Yeah.
Then I think he asks her to pull them away.
Mhm.
And as she pulls them away, the shadow on the table of her hands still remains.
Wow.
Right. So, and then she looks down and is shocked and pulls herself back. So, I did see how that was done.
Yeah.
And basically, there's two sort of shadow, like dark material, cut out of her dress, right? And she puts that material on the table, and that on top of her hands. And then as she moves her hands away, obviously they're still wet there. And as she moves away shocked, the material moves away from the table, so it looks like the shadow sort of pulls itself away. So that was a good one. You should look that one up.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's my introduction to magic and a bit of the history. So James, that was our introduction to magic and some of the history of magic.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's another thing I think we could actually talk about all night.
Yeah, I think it's quite strange how, like, somewhere along the lines, humans have decided, I can do this. I can sort of trick people like this. You know, just in the grand scheme of things, I find that quite fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, my dad liked to trick people out of their money.
Well, maybe you could call him a magician as well.
Oh, he was a magician at times. So yeah, but I mean, this is the most dangerous podcast. So what we want is magic gone wrong, when people get hurt and injured.
This is the real stuff.
The real stuff, yeah. So before we get to what I think is the most dangerous magic trick, while I was looking for the most dangerous magic trick, I found some magic that had gone wrong. So I'm going to read you some of them, see what you think.
Okay.
Number one, Charles Rowan and the speeding car. South Africa.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster already.
It is, yeah. South African Charles Rowan understood the appeal of melodrama, which is why he repeatedly consented to being secured in a straitjacket whilst a car sped towards him at 45 miles an hour. Rowan performed this stunt many times, but it only needed to go wrong once. While appearing in front of a sizable crowd in 1930, Rowan failed to dislodge himself in time. The car ran right over him, virtually severing his leg and ending his life.
Bloody hell. God. I mean, 1930, no health and safety there.
So that was Charles Rowan. And there's a chap here called Joe Burris. He was a very big fan of Harry Houdini, and he wanted to do a Houdini-style escape.
Had he done one before? That's the first question.
Yeah, I mean, he'd done simple escapes, but this was something. Okay. It was a Halloween night spectacle that he wanted to do.
So it's not just some guy who's gone. He's quite popular and big and famous. I'm going to do that. He's got previous.
He's got previous.
He knows what he's doing, type thing, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he did nothing after this, but he'd certainly done stuff before it. And what he wanted to do, he wanted to settle himself into a glass coffin and have 9 tons of dirt and cement poured over him.
Right.
And it was the performance took place at Blackbeard's Family Fun Center in California.
There were kids there.
Yeah. And after being lowered 7 feet into the ground, whilst chained up inside a glass coffin, a
So he's
cement
getting
truck...
buried alive?
Getting buried alive, yeah.
Right, okay. So
In a-
glass coffin, 7 foot deep,
Yeah,
and then you lay him flat on his back, I suppose,
in the coffin, yeah.
in the coffin, and then pour shit over him.
9 tons of cement on
That's
him.
a lot, yeah. Cement as well.
It's a lot for glass to
Yeah. Oh,
hold.
is this where it went wrong?
Yeah. So, basically, the cement crushed the coffin, suffocating him.
Oh.
It was a morbid homage to Houdini, who also died on Halloween night, as we discussed.
Yeah, by a sucker punch.
Yeah. So instead of doing a tribute to Houdini by doing a trick like Houdini did, what he actually did is did a tribute to him by dying on the same night as him.
But not the same year.
No, different year, yeah.
Is it right?
Many years
That would
later.
have been worse. Yeah.
1990 this was.
Oh, that recent?
Yeah, 1990, yeah.
Oh, God. Didn't anyone think that would have been that was a bad idea? Even 1990.
You see, I'm not a health and safety expert, and I probably would have told him not to do it.
Yeah.
It looks like a bad idea.
I mean, this is California as well, isn't it?
California, yes.
So
it's not like
this is-
redneck America. It's not-
Yeah. So this is kind of they without sounding too crude, like a developed part of the world.
Yeah.
So surely they would have people there going, "Don't do that."
Yeah, this is
That's-
stupid.
Yeah, like there's scientists there, I think,
Yeah.
who could measure the weight of that against the glass. Oh, anyway, it's all irrelevant now.
Yeah.
Poor bloke.
So, yeah. Another chap here, George Lalonde, and the backstabbing audience member. Most sensible people regard illusions for what they are, bits of misdirection. But it's Henry Howard, who sat in the audience of a show in Montreal in 1936, became agitated when a stage magician, George Lalonde, prepared to saw his assistant in half. Howard rushed to the stage, grabbed a sword and plunged it into Lalonde's neck, and what he perceived was an act of heroism. Lalonde survived while Howard told the police he couldn't bear to see a woman cut into.
He didn't read the flyer, did he?
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
No, I think someone should have told him what a magic act was.
But yeah.
Yeah. I think he thought he'd gone to see a woman actually getting sawn in half.
No, surely not though, because he wouldn't have done what he did if he'd gone there and thought, oh well, I'm going to go and watch a lady cut in half, and then did that.
Yeah,
then,
true. Yeah.
So, what did he think he was going to go and see? How
I don't
weird.
know.
What happened to him? Have you got any idea? I bet he got hung or something, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got in a bit of trouble for that.
He got cut in half by a saw.
I don't know. I mean, if the police really believed that he thought he was saving a woman's life, it's not like
Not in no circumstances though. I mean, fair enough. If it was in the middle of the street,
Yeah.
then yeah. But I mean, he's gone to a magic show
Hmm.
and then gone, no, stop this. No. He's either been executed or sent down for a very long time for that,
Yeah, probably.
or mental asylum. That would probably be more fitting.
Now here's one. I've seen this on Facebook and TikTok and whatnot, and I don't know if you have. Do you ever see the one where a Polish TV presenter on like a morning, like a breakfast show, a lady was helping a magician do a trick by ramming her hands down on paper bags?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Look up this video. It was basically a Polish TV presenter, Marzyna Rogalska, and they had a magician from Poland's Got Talent on visiting the show, and he did the trick. You've probably seen the trick where there's like 3 empty paper bags and one of them's got a big nail in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, and then you slam your hand down on
Slam
it.
your hand
Yes, I've seen
and
that.
it went wrong, and she slammed her hand down in the wrong bag, and the nail went through her hand live on breakfast TV in Poland.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I've seen it.
Live as well.
Yeah, do you know what's quite weird? Every time I see it, I feel sick and it's cringeworthy. but for some reason I've watched it loads of times.
I really want to see it now.
Yeah,
Like, it just
need to
sounds
look it
so
up.
bad because it's live as well.
Yeah,
Like, ugh, it kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies.
yeah. Look it up. We'll stick it on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think about it. So yeah, I mean the last one that I saw, this tickled me for some reason. So this is another Got Talent. When Vietnam's Got Talent semi-finalist Tran Tan Phat brought out 4 glasses of water and 1 glass of acid. He had no idea he was moments away from disaster.
Oh, bloody hell! I know he's moments away from disaster.
Yeah. In an act dubbed the Acid Test, Phat got one of the contestant judges to come on stage and shuffle the glasses around, including the one containing sulfuric acid.
Fuck.
He then claimed he would use his magic to work out which glass had the dangerous substance in it. However, as the judges looked on, he chose wrong.
No way. And this was no, because that's not live, is it? The Got Talent shows aren't. I mean,
Depends
they have
whether
a
it's the
live
auditions.
audience, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh
I
no!
think
So
the auditions are recorded in front of a live audience.
yeah, so he burnt his insides out in front of a live audience.
Basically, yeah. It says Phat spat out the acid as soon as he realised what he was drinking, but not before his lips had swollen up and pain had shot through him, according to reports. He was raced to hospital and treated for second-degree burns.
God. Oh, he survived?
Yeah, he survived. Yeah.
Lucky man, yeah, very lucky there. So, because I guess when you do that sort of trick, you can't just kind of second guess it. You're all in. You go down.
Yeah.
So
you can't like taste a little bit.
Stick your tongue in.
Yeah. So they were just some magic tricks that had gone wrong. So I hear you asking me, what, Fraser, is the most dangerous magic trick?
What, Fraser, is the most dangerous magic trick?
There we go. So the most dangerous magic trick is a magic trick. It's not something new. It's been around for hundreds of years. And it's known as the bullet catch.
Right.
So basically the idea of the trick is a bullet is fired directly at a performer, and the performer or the magician catches the bullet in their teeth.
Yes, I think in the teeth.
In the teeth, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was the teeth. Now, we mentioned David Blaine earlier, which I don't want to jump ahead. Yes, I think I remember watching a show where he did this. But I always thought it was in the hand. No?
Well,
it's actually in the teeth.
The original bullet catch was in the teeth, and it's been most commonly done in the teeth. But there's been ones where they've caught it in a hat, caught it in their hand, caught it in other things.
God, right.
And generally, when they do the trick, there's like a piece of glass or a piece of paper halfway between that the bullet goes through to prove that a bullet has been fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the most simple way it's done is that the gun's rigged in some way that it fires a blank.
Right.
And the magician's got another bullet in his mouth that as soon as the gun's fired, he moves with his tongue and holds it between his teeth.
So when a gun fires a blank,
yeah,
it just makes a noise. Nothing comes out of the gun itself.
That's it, yeah. So there's like a little bit of paper. Instead of a bullet, there's a case with gunpowder, and shoved in the case is a little bit of paper.
So when it just
disintegrates. Obviously, when they first did it, people started to say, how do we know the bullet's travelled? So the trick developed, so they started putting a piece of paper or a piece of glass so that you could prove that something's travelled through the air.
Yeah.
So what they started to then do, they had to make like a wax bullet so that the wax would melt but still break the paper but not make it all the way to the magician.
Right.
And sometimes they would actually rig the paper with like, you can get like a puff of air that can make a hole in paper. So as people started to question it, the trick became more and more intricate and how they had to do it and prove it. Yeah, and one of the ways they actually developed was that the people in the audience wanted to put the bullet in the gun to make sure it was a real bullet. So the magicians, what they did is they worked out a way they used an old-fashioned gun that used to poke a stick down the muzzle.
Yeah.
So they used to give the audience member the bullet, and they would poke it down the muzzle of the gun. Then the magician would hold a stick and give it his last poke, but the stick would be magnetic and pull the bullet back out.
Got you.
Because again, they had to keep developing different ways to do it. And the most dangerous way of doing it was to actually have a real gun and to just slightly miss the magician.
God,
So the bullet would go past them and they would have the one in their mouth.
you'd have to be a crack shot to.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting a lot of faith in your assistant there, aren't you? And that's like,
Definitely.
you can get away with like that's a good murder way, isn't it? Like you
It
get
is,
away
yeah.
with literally get away with murder. You know, you could.
If you were fed up with your magician that you work with.
He recently changed his will to
Yeah.
give you all his assets, and then oh no.
Well, I think there's actually evidence of that happening in
Really?
some of these. Yeah. That the method of actually shooting real guns led to some of the most early deaths from this trick, and you know, modern day that method's actually been abandoned because it is dangerous.
No shit.
Yeah. In some cases, I think Penn and Teller would actually do this. They actually invite an audience member to come and mark the bullet, so that they can prove that it's the same bullet that's caught in their teeth.
Yeah.
But again, it's a sleight of hand thing. The audience member would mark the bullet gets swapped, blank gets put in, and the real bullet makes its way to the magician.
Okay, so it's or suggestion, I suppose, because you could say to the you there's only so many ways you can mark a bullet. I imagine, like down or across.
Yeah, it's just putting.
They're only small, aren't they? So if you suggest, well, you mark it like down, then you could sort of make sure the other bullets
they've got one.
like that. Yeah.
So there was a magician called Chong Ling Soo, which was the stage name of an American magician called William Ellsworth.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
It's a strange. Did you look into it? Any particular reason he's got that name? It's quite unusual.
Chong Ling Soo, he was of Asian origin,
Right.
and on stage he actually, he pretended he was Asian. He didn't talk with an American accent or anything, until he was shot, and the illusion was given up because he said, "I've been shot," in an American accent.
Fucking hell!
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, so Chong Ling Soo, or William Ellsworth, he was killed performing the trick, because the gun used was set to discharge a blank, but the gun malfunctioned, and the bullet that had been, there was a main barrel and a reserve barrel.
Right.
They were meant to shoot the reserve barrel with a blank, but the main barrel was shot, and it went into his lung and killed him. And it was so shocking that magician Harry Keller famously pleaded with Harry Houdini not to perform the bullet catch. Houdini was very keen on actually doing this trick.
Right.
And Harry Keller actually wrote to Houdini begging him, saying, "Don't try the bullet catching trick. There's always, there's a risk that someone can do you. Basically, your life's not in your own hands with this trick. Your life's in someone else's hands."
Yeah.
And Harry Houdini actually listened to it and never attempted to perform the trick.
He didn't do it. Wow, but he was planning on doing it.
He was planning on doing it. So imagine this is a trick that's so dangerous Houdini wouldn't do it,
Yeah. This is scary, isn't it? I mean, and that's absolutely right. It's not in your hands anymore.
That's it.
It's subject, I suppose, to manipulation. If somebody wanted to do that, it is very dangerous.
It is. So I looked up who's actually died from doing this trick, and this is from Wikipedia, a list of the sort of most prominent people that have died. Now, it actually starts at 1500s, right? And it
1500s.
says 1500s. So someone in the 1500s, the year 1500s.
That's a bit mad because the guns back then would have been very different, right?
Yeah, see, now I question this because I know Wikipedia can be a bit made up. And it says here, Cooling is this chap's name, 1500s, beaten to death with his trick pistol.
I don't. Yeah, that's not quite the same thing. So, what was it, like a blunderbuss?
It must have been, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I don't, because you got pistols around about that time, but they were the
1500s, yeah.
the proper with all the decorations on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they were the ones that you put the bullet in and put a little thing, a rod down the end of it to pack them in.
Yeah, the gun that when you're in a war and you shot someone and missed, you had to go and hide somewhere for 15 minutes to try and reload your gun.
Yeah, you were in trouble.
That was it, yeah.
You better make sure you make that shot.
That's it. Yes, please wait there, chap, while I reload my pistol.
He's charging towards you with a what they called a cutlass.
And then the second one I've kept it in there. Kia Khan Cruz in 1818, Indian magician. Report of his death on stage may have been false.
Yeah, but hang on, right? Before we move on to this guy, can we just go back to the other guy?
Yeah, beaten to death with his trick.
What do you mean? Someone beat him to death. So what do you mean trick pistol? So it was a fake gun, basically.
Yeah, so I think it was his fake gun, and basically the guy that was meant to shoot his fake gun thought otherwise and ran up to him, beat him to death with it. Yeah.
So then, how does so he would have the bullet in his pocket.
Yeah.
Someone would shoot the blank.
Yeah.
And then he'd go, look, I've got it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. And then someone just went as if.
Just decided to go and leather him with his trick.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
I don't really see that as the trick being dangerous. That was just some dickhead that decided
that's not
his trick pistol.
I mean, anyone can do that.
There is a couple like this. Okay, Madame Delinsky,
nice.
Magician's assistant who was killed by her husband when a real bullet was loaded into the pistol's chamber by mistake.
Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, wife.
I know. You go stand there, love. It's just a blank. So again, that's one. Your question is that the trick being dangerous,
or is that just some dude trying to off his wife?
Yeah. You know, maybe she'd got to an age where he was like, I need a new young assistant.
Yeah. She's just taking out a nice life policy.
Yeah.
These things happen in magic or illusion.
Aye. There was a chap called Arnold Buck in 1840 who died when a volunteer secretly added nails to the gun barrel before firing at him.
Fucking hell. That's how sick's that? What did the guy think was going to be the outcome of that?
I don't know.
Let's see how magic this dude actually is.
Yeah. But I mean, someone's been invited up into stage to help with this trick with a pocket full of nails for a start.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, who brings nails to a theatre? What a mental bastard.
Now, this is my favourite. Adam Epstein, 1869. Died after his wand, used to ram home the balls in the rifle barrel, broke inside the gun. He was killed by wand shards.
Oh, no, so he didn't think, he just thought, this will be okay.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah. What was it, wood?
Must have been wood, yeah.
Must have been wood, so like wood shards.
But again, I'm looking at a lot of this, and a lot of this is human error and stupidity and stuff like that.
A lot of it does seem that way, but then also there's a couple in there where I'm kind of going, it's been some misdemeanor there. I think there's a plot off people.
Well, here we go. Raoul Curran, 1880. Killed by a member of the audience who jumped out of his seat and shot him without warning.
But is that related to this trick, though?
Well, he was doing the trick at the time.
That's right, really?
Yeah.
See if you can catch this one.
Deline Jr., 1890, died when his magician father shot him on stage.
Wow. And how old was he?
Doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
No. I'd have to
Right,
assume,
okay.
obviously, his father was.
The
See,
magician.
now, there's been a few of these where it seems to be the magician's the one shooting the gun. Because there was the magician's assistant that got shot.
Oh,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
is the magician. The magician should be the one catching the bullet, surely.
Well, that's the illusion, isn't it? That's the magic.
So yeah,
I'd be
that's
interested
where.
to know how old this guy was. Like some 6-year-old point blank range.
Imagine going home to your wife. How did the trick go tonight?
Yeah.
Where's Deline?
Good news and bad news.
Yeah.
The trick went really well. But he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. We got Michael Hartle, 1899, died after he failed to switch blank cartridges for the real bullets that killed him. So that's his own fault.
That's his own fault.
Yeah. These go on. I'm gonna keep reading them. Otto Blumenfield died off after he also failed to switch bullets.
This seems to be a common occurrence.
Yeah. Chonglin Su, who we talked about earlier, the one that stopped Houdini from doing it, killed by a faulty trick pistol.
No. So he stopped Houdini doing it, and then
No, sorry. He was the one that died, and then Houdini's mate stopped him from doing it. Sorry.
Right, okay.
I got that wrong.
I thought he was kind of like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
And then he did it to try and just get like one-upmanship type thing.
Yeah, that's it. As if saying to Houdini, put Houdini off doing it so I can do it and get the fame.
So I can do it. Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, okay.
But no, Chonglin Su was the American guy that called himself Chonglin Su and died. H.T. Sartle died after failed to switch bullets. Okay. Here we go. The Black Wizard of the West, 1922, died when his wife purposely fired live bullets at him.
Purposely fired. There you go.
Yeah. Here's another good one. Ralph Biala, 1972. So we're getting
closer to real time.
Fell off a cliff because of constant dizziness caused by injuries from the bullet catching act.
Yeah, is that related to this? I mean, that's I guess it. Because how do you know that it's related to that trick? You could just be malnourished,
pissed. Yeah. And the last one, Fernando Tejada, 1988, killed on stage during a performance in Colombia, failed to swap the bullets. So,
again,
human error.
Again. This that's really negligent. Yeah,
so like I looked up what's the most dangerous magic trick. But a lot of it is, like you said, it's negligent. It's
if you're doing a magic trick,
the
it's attention to detail, isn't it? The whole point of it
absolutely
is attention to detail. You need to make sure that every intricate detail is on point, so that magic trick comes out to play as you intend it to.
Yeah.
If you're doing one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous magic trick known to man, and you're failing to swap blanks for live ammunition, then I'm sorry, I've got absolutely no sympathy.
Well, what I've learned in researching this is the magic trick itself is not dangerous if performed correctly. There's no danger in it whatsoever.
It seems like it.
Because you fire a blank, you've got a bullet in your mouth. But
that's it. Job done. See you later. Come back next time.
Yeah, but it's the magic trick that's killed the most people, down to negligence, like you say.
Individual error.
Yeah.
So is it the magic trick? Well, again, the whole thing is a philosophical question, isn't it? I suppose to even attempt the magic trick, it seems a bit daft to me.
Definitely.
But if someone pointed a gun at me and said, "Oh, it's okay, it's blanks," I still would kind of go, "Well, I don't really want you shooting that at me," even though you're saying it's full of blanks. But
yeah, you think what you'd probably want to do is, if you were the magician, you would check the gun and everything and set it up on stage.
Yeah. Like point number 1.
Yeah.
Make sure blank bullets are in the gun.
Yeah.
You've got a list of objectives as you work through the trick.
Yeah.
That's your first one.
Don't get shot.
Yeah, make sure there's not live ammunition in the gun.
In the theatre. Doesn't need to be live ammunition there at all.
Yeah, well, maybe there does to show the audience. Oh, look, it's a real bullet.
Yeah. Well, true.
I think
yeah.
that's probably why it's there.
So James, yeah, you mentioned David Blaine, and as we all know, David Blaine, he likes to take sort of tricks and see how mental he can make them.
Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam. And David Blaine, he did the bullet catch, but instead of using all the smoke and mirrors and stuff like that, he actually he pulls the trigger of the gun himself.
Right.
So he's got a gun across the stage with a bit of string attached to the trigger.
Okay.
And
I'm trying to remember this because I do vaguely recall watching this.
Yeah,
It was one of the big tricks that he did, wasn't it? Because he did a few big tricks,
That's
like the
it.
glass in the box, and this was one of them. I remember.
So he's got a special like gum shield with a metal cup fixed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a mirror in his one hand and he's holding a bit of string in the other, and he's using the mirror to make sure the laser pointer from the gun is pointing into the middle of the cup.
I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like you kind of like broke a dream, when you just have that sort of like moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember this.
Now he was safe because he had a bulletproof vest and some Ray-Bans on. And once he's ready, he pulls a string and the bullet really shoots, and he catches it in the metal cup in his mouth.
God. So I'm guessing. So I don't remember that clearly. I do remember it. So the cup in his mouth, a bullet couldn't go through it.
Couldn't go through it.
He had to get it in the cup, basically. Yeah, so it was this is real.
This is real.
He's actually catching a bullet in his mouth in a cup, a bulletproof cup.
Yes. But what actually happened is when the bullet hit the cup, the gum shield shattered and injured his throat.
God.
And this is what David Blaine actually said. He said, "Time just started to move really slow. When the bullet struck the cup, there was a high-pitched ringing in my ears and I felt an impact on the back of my throat. I was sure the bullet went right through my head and that I was dead. Suddenly I became aware of the pain and it brought me back. At that moment I realised that the mouth guard had shattered and I was alive. Doctors examined him and found he had a lacerated throat, a minor injury for, well, shooting at your own head."
The medical term.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And the difference here is that's not magic, is it? That's not even illusion. That is shooting yourself in the face.
Yeah, and catching it in a cup.
And catching it in a cup. The other people that you spoke about, using blank bullets, using the sleight of hand and faking they've got a bullet in the mouth. That's illusion. That's magic.
Yeah.
This is something completely different, I think. This is full danger. You are essentially shooting yourself, and hoping that you get it. Yeah, with a piece of string as well.
I know.
So you're kind of like aiming yourself up to make sure that with a mirror. This is insane. This is crazy. Think about all the things that could go wrong here. Even just the very slightest movement. I'm sure this is what you were just about to say.
Yeah.
You pull the string and you move ever so slightly.
Absolutely.
And then it goes through your eye. That's so mad.
I know, that would sting, wouldn't it?
You just wouldn't know anything about it. It probably wouldn't hurt at all because you're dead.
Yeah.
That's madness. That's even just talking about it. I do remember watching it, but I don't remember. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember it that well. But even just talking about it, you can tell by my voice. That's so impressive.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
So, before we finish, have you ever been to a big magic show? Is it something you've ever been to?
I was trying to think. No, not really. I've been to like a circus, and they do sort of tricks there, don't they? They usually have a weird clown thing that they sort of goes around and pulls flowers out of
Yeah.
his hat and stuff. So I've seen stuff like that. I've
Yeah.
never been, and I've been to it. Like I said before, I've been to a Derren Brown concert. Is it concert? Not really a concert, I suppose, but you know what I mean, like a
Yeah.
show. So that's sort of similar, I
Hmm.
guess. But I've never actually been. I don't know. Do they do them anymore? Like I've never been to one where they cut someone in half or
No,
anything like
no.
that.
When I was quite young, when I was 6, 7, first time my parents ever took me to America, it was New Year's Eve. We were in Tampa Bay, and I'd been really ill with a bit of food poisoning. And we went to see a proper big American magic show.
Hmm.
And I was actually picked out of the crowd to go up on stage with a magician.
Only you.
Well, yeah, so this magician, I was 6 or 7 years old, took me, put me on his shoulders, and halfway to the stage, I diarrheaed myself. So I never actually made it.
Diarrheaed yourself.
Diarrheaed myself on the magician's back. He had to change his coat.
Oh
Um,
no! Well,
yeah.
certain right.
So that's the only.
What was the trick? What was he trying to do?
I don't know. I never made it. Never got to stage. I had to go to the toilets and get changed. So James, that's been magic. So what do you think? Is the bullet catch the most dangerous magic trick, or is it just idiots doing it wrong?
Yeah, well, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Look, yeah, it's easy. I mean,
Mhm.
what other magic tricks are so dangerous? Everything else that I am aware of
Yeah.
is illusion, um, sleight of hand,
Mhm.
and things like that. And I think the thing that puts this above all others is the David Blaine version of it,
Yeah.
where essentially he has shot himself in the face or in the mouth.
Mhm.
It's extremely dangerous. There's no other trick, or well, that's that could be done that is on that level. I don't think.
The only other
So
one I thought was like the escapology ones where they're like in a swimming pool chained up. But I thought there's always people standing by that if it goes wrong, they can jump in, bring them out, give them the kiss of life and stuff. But once a
yeah, yeah,
bullet's
yeah,
gone through you, that you don't
yeah,
need
exactly.
a doctor. You need a
There's
fucking undertaker, don't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. There's always that sort of background support when you're doing
yeah,
those
yeah.
type of tricks. And all right, back in the day when it's like
Mhm.
Houdini and all the rest of it, maybe these illusionists, magicians, etc., were reluctant to call on those people to help them out because they
Yeah,
wanted to prove that they could do it. It was still there, like you say.
definitely.
When you pull that trigger,
Mhm.
it's essentially life or death.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, in certain circumstances, unless it's the illusions that we spoke of earlier.
yeah, absolutely.
It seems to be that um, in some circumstances, particularly the big one that you mentioned,
Mhm.
it is life or death.
Yeah.
David Blaine shot a live round of ammunition into his mouth.
Mhm.
That's I can't think of anything more dangerous than that.
Even
Never
though it
mind.
went, yeah, even though he did it right, it still kind of went wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Never mind. Magician, magic trick or not,
Yeah,
that's potentially one of the most dangerous things you could do ever. So
absolutely.
how could it not be?
So that's been the most dangerous magic trick, and it's been a pleasure as always, James.
Yeah, I know
Um,
you struggled a bit today with you've got a bit of a
yeah,
nasty throat. So thanks for spending the
no,
time
it's fine.
to investigate and doing the podcast. But I think you were going to mention that we've got uh, an email address that you can contact us on. That listeners contact us on.
Yeah, so we're looking our nice dedicated listeners out there. I mean, we seem to be growing all the time, which is wonderful. And we want to hear from you. So what we'd like is if you've got any suggestions of what you would like us to cover in the most dangerous, then certainly email in to James and Fraser pod@gmail.com. And we're also on Facebook, the most dangerous podcast. You can contact us is through there. And if you give us a suggestion, we use it on our show, then we'll send you a nice little thank you, a wee prize.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we've got plenty of surprises to give out. And
I mean,
and on top of that, I think if anyone wants to give us a review or like a thumbs up on various platforms, I don't know how they all work. I'm too old, but
yeah,
just write a review or send us some comments. It doesn't necessarily have to be a suggestion. Just tell us what you think. It'd be great to hear from you.
Definitely, yeah. And if you enjoy it, tell your friends. Tell them to listen to us. Give us the feedback, because we can only do what we can do, and it's up to you to help us to grow.
Excellent. Thank you, Fraser.
No
I
problem.
shall see you next week.
Thanks, James. That's been magic, and this is the most dangerous podcast. See you soon.
That's magic.
Bye bye.